Well, howdy there, neighbor. Welcome back to my show. This is Monkey Mike at Monkey Wrenching here. No, I'm just playing. All right, so today we are going to cover the exhaust. As you can see, I have the stock exhaust fully laid out from the header back. That is the stock unit that Mazda sends with the Miata, at least the NA Miatas. And that's I only really know about this one. I mean, I know what I've read online, what I've met by people, and stuff I've seen, but other than that, I mean, really, I'm basing most of my knowledge off my own car. So this is just, if you bought one, this is what you're dealing with. What you can see here is I have a V-band on a downpipe that I made for the turbo. I did this when the car was all jacked up in the air, and you can actually see comparable. They both end up pretty much the same spot. This is actually the tip that was on there. And I don't have them completely matched up all perfect. But this is the basic shape. I haven't welded any of these joints. They're all still movable. It won't be identically flat as you're seeing it lay on the garage floor. As you can see here by the stock one, that it kind of has some little twists and turns and the tiny little humps here and there and whatnot. Like you can see it sticking up there, and that's just because it's laying on the cat. That cat is from 2013. The biggest reason this happened the way it did, I probably would have tried to use the stock exhaust had there been a way for me to actually unbolt it. These were nearly inaccessible. Just in order to get this stupid clamp off, I had to, sit and mess with a bunch of crap. I ended up cutting it here, cutting that, or not cutting this, unbolting that, cutting that, and then I had to cut right there. So I had to drop that pipe out of the way. That let me unbolt that from the transmission, and then I was able to remove that up top. I was going to try to use from this pipe back, because you can see where they put on, and this is actually a Honda muffler. I'm not sure why. It's just what they had laying around. But I think the best part about this whole entire deal is that this here was built for under $100. And that's obviously not going to count welding it. And I have my own little janky welder, and it does just fine. The only part that I did not get out of O'Reilly's would be that V-band right there. This V-band came with the turbo, and then the stainless steel elbow, I got that on eBay. So what this consists of is the stainless steel 90-degree elbow that had a little bit more of an angle at it, needed to clear the area for the turbo to drop it down in the little cavity it sits in. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 45-degree elbows, a 90-degree elbow. That's an 18-inch straight piece. And then this here is a 6-foot piece, and that is actually that one there and this are the only two that are cut short. Otherwise, everything else is to standard length. The reason why this one is actually cut short is originally I scavenged that off of an old pipe that I have for Leroy. As you can see, this is an extra, but this here, this is what I used to do a side dump on Leroy when I first got him. That was when it was still NA. That's the pipe that, well, you can't really see it, but it's right here. That's the pipe that I used that comes off of Leroy. So anyway, back to this here. I'm going to go grab my scale, and we are going to compare the dead weight of the exhaust as a whole. And I do have a second turbo, so I'll weigh myself with the turbo as well, and we'll just try to include what the overall weight is. And that's obviously not going to count the manifold, though I could probably have my brother weigh the manifold, and I can just include that in later. I'm not sure if I care that much, probably just estimate. I can also look up how much the shipping weight was for that, and we could just add that in for a guesstimation. Give me a moment to grab my scale, and we'll get this weighed up. Alright, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to get a base weight of myself holding the camera. As you can see, I'm fat. I'm going to go 211. Okay, so 211, and then I'm going to weigh myself holding all the individual stock pieces from the Miata here. We'll get a total of that. I'm just going to use the video footage to go back and calculate it all versus sitting here writing it down, and I'll just give you an overall since you'll be able to see it anyway. So, this is holding the muffler, you can see. Oh, shut off. Let's try that again. We call it 220. It weighed 9 pounds. Here's the cat. Alright. So that was about four or so pounds. And then I'm just going to grab these both together. Come over here and weigh that. 223. So we had 9 pounds there. 223, that'd be 12 pounds. Basically 25 pounds. Say roundabout. And I'm leaving this off mainly just because I'm not going to weigh that. Alright, so as far as this piece goes, I'm just going to see if I can grab this all as one deal. See if I can just hold it all together. Alright, that's what I'm doing. Alright. $224.6. And then we'll grab this guy right here. Doesn't even weigh anything. Well, it says 211 still. So unless I like magically lost weight. Oh, look at that. So I'm 207.6. Let's try that one more time. Okay, so 207.6. Well, there you have it. Let me get all the calculations up. I'll tell you exactly what they are, and I'll throw them on screen for you. Oh, the turbo's a heavy sucker, though. That's definitely where a lot of weight's going to come in. Not as much as I thought. 20 pounds. That's not terrible. Back in your home. You can see I've got everything tallied up. We have 211 as our first base weight. And the first few pipes that we weighed from the stock exhaust, we have 220, 215.4, 223.2. Now, the reason why I have two different numbers is because I wasn't quite sure about which base weight was actually correct, whether it was the 211 or the 207.6. If it was 211, then it only weighed 9 pounds, 4.4 pounds, and 12 pounds. If it was 207.6, it would be 12.4, 7.8, and 15.6. Now, 35.8 pounds actually does seem fairly accurate if you were to hold the pieces in your hand, mainly because we are talking about a full header with a very, very thick flange on it. The schedule of pipe that Mazda used is fairly thick as well, unlike the cheap 18 gauge that I used from the parts store. With all things considered, I do believe 35.8 to be a fairly accurate weight, but I did want to leave 25.4 up there just in case we had any discrepancy between you and I. So the second stuff, which would be the O'Reilly parts store, the Nixon exhaust parts, that would be 224.6 and 211. Again, the reason why I feel the discrepancy here with the 207.6 versus 211 base weight is, as you saw when I weighed just the downpipe, it was trying to tell me it weighed next to nothing, which at least, it's about 2 to 3 feet worth of pipe. I'd say 2.5, plus the V-band flange that's sitting on there. I'd say 3.4 pounds does sound fairly accurate. So with that in mind, we have a base weight of 211 saying it weighed 13.6, and the base weight of the 207.6 saying that it was 20.4 pounds. I would believe that it is 20 pounds. That is a fair amount of metal. I can't believe that it would only weigh 13.6 pounds. So showing us basically a difference of 15.4 pounds. And if you were to hold it in your hands, that's pretty accurate. I mean, I would definitely say if I had to guesstimate, it's about 15-pound difference. Now the turbo, I wasn't able to actually take the one off the car and weigh it, so I weighed the one that I had on the shelf there, and I know the one on the car is going to be lighter, mainly because I took a crap ton of steel out of that thing, or cast iron rather. I probably spent 3, maybe 4 hours worth of time with the deburring bits and filled my floor with quite a large pile, a pretty thick film almost of metal shavings, and it took me some time to get that cleaned up. With that in mind, I would say that it probably took a pound off. I wouldn't say maybe more than a pound, but this one here, when I weighed it, and that was the turbo for my brother, which is completely unmodified, is at 19.4 pounds. That would be with the base weight of the 207.6 because I weighed 227 while holding the turbo. Therefore, 16 pounds for that turbo doesn't make sense either. 19.4 pounds does make sense. Shipping advertised is 21.8. And yeah, I did put on there that I removed some metal from it. I already brought that up about the turbo that's on the car. So realistically, I would go with the 207.6 being the proper base weight. And even if we're saying that the stock exhaust only weighed 25 pounds, I just don't see that being true. The reason why is, well, I've held it in my hands. We know that the header is extremely heavy. We know that the cat's going to weigh something, and we also know that the muffler is going to have some weight, which we have none of those things currently in this total here. Now, no, I did not weigh the turbo manifold. It is fairly heavy, and I believe it's going to make up kind of the extra weight that we're talking about here. But just with the exhaust and the turbo alone, it realistically doesn't weigh much more than the stock exhaust, and then we add that header on, I would say maybe 10 pounds, 15 tops, but I'm going to go guesstimating about 10 pounds. So the likelihood of how much we added to put the turbo system on, I'm really not going to say it was more than 10 or 15 pounds total. It's just not a whole lot when you think about the grand scheme of things. And the amount of power you're going to get out of it is definitely going to be more than 15 pounds worth of, power to weight ratio. So there you have it. Now give me just a moment here and we will pull up the cost and discuss that. What's up, everyone? You can see me reflecting on the screen there on my iPad. So I did kind of tally up everything, but we'll just talk about it. So we do have the 45-degree elbows. There were 6 of them. We do have the 90-degree elbow. That total together was going to be $47.53. If you wanted to buy the 6-foot straight pipe, that was going to be $20.99. Add that together, we got $68.52 plus the 18-inch straight pipe at $7.59. That's going to be $76.11. Now the elbow, I did buy 2 of them. I split it in half only because I used one, and I'm sure I could have got one for a little bit cheaper than $6.25, but we're just going to call it that because that is the cost of use here. So we're now at $82.36. And the V-band clamp, again, I only used one. I haven't decided if I'll use the other one. If I do, obviously that does jump the price up just slightly to over $100. But with just the one being used, which is currently how I have everything set up, and might be how it stays, we're at $92.35. So we're just going to go ahead and call that stock, the tip that came with the stock exhaust that I had, which obviously wasn't stock, but we're just going to call it used at $7.65. That's going to bring us to a grand total of $100. You like how I did that? Dead at $100. We could have called it $7.64 and said we got under $100, but I'll probably title this video something like Miata exhaust for $100 with a question mark. Build your own exhaust for $100? I'm not sure what I'll title it. I don't try to do clickbait titles and stuff like that if I can get away with it. I really just want to give you an honest look at what it is I'm doing, what it cost, how easy it is to do these sorts of things on your own. Realistically, you could clamp that entire thing together if you really wanted to. Spend another, I think it cost me $80 to buy that cheap welder off of eBay, and it comes with enough wire that you could completely weld the whole thing. So realistically, if you wanted to save yourself the cost, end up with a cheapo welder at the end of it and have your own exhaust that is how you made it, so you know exactly everything about it, how it flows, how it's going to work, and all that junk. $200, less than $200 maybe, you get it done. Not a problem, not difficult at all. It's something where you just jack up the side of the car and mostly just slide everything in. I did use my bandsaw, but you could use pretty much, I mean, you could use a hacksaw. If you really needed to, you could just use a hacksaw. So you could sit there by hand and cut it up. I didn't use any tape measure to measure anything. I just kind of put the exhaust up under there, eyed it, cut it, slid more pipe over each other. As you can see, almost everything, like I welded the slip joint together there, and I'm gonna weld all those other slip joints. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for this video. Next is gonna be, I'm gonna, put all the exhaust up under there, get it mocked up, figure out exactly where I want it. Hopefully, I've never done it in this particular fashion. So I'll explain to you exactly how I'm gonna do it when I get a little bit better idea. I might cut the tabs off, I might make new tabs. I don't know. I might hard mount it so it's pretty much a solid exhaust, being that this really doesn't move. This is gonna move slightly. The bushings aren't completely solid, but at the same time, it's damn near solid. I mean, it basically doesn't move. It's definitely in there. When you come on here and see, I mean, the whole car moves before the motor moves. That thing is definitely going to be solid. 95 durometer is going to last quite a while too, so I don't expect them to get hot and worn and then all of a sudden start shaking real bad. I'm sure the poly mounts will outlast how long I either have the motor in the car or how long the motor lasts in the car before it has to come back out and all that kind of junk. We may do poly on the hangers there. I haven't really decided. So you'll just have to stay tuned and see exactly what it is I decide to do with this exhaust, how I'm gonna actually fit it up there. Where I believe there might be another part, like in the elbow system there, this guy right here. I might need to cut something just a little bit shorter. I'm not really sure. So again, thanks for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Make sure to go check out all my friends. I've said them so many times, I'm not going to keep shouting them out in every single video because that stuff probably gets old, but you know who they are, and I'm probably going to try to start being more YouTube savvy, put like links and stuff in there and whatnot. We'll see, I don't know. I kind of like just, filming crap and give you a low ball edit, kind of be like, okay, here's what I did. So thanks again. Peace.